Hello guys, I am Vishali Kikan. We are discussing Unit 4 Chemical Bonding and Structure, and today we are going to start our discussion with VSEPR's theory. What is the VSEPR's full form? It is a valence shell electron pair repulsion theory. So what does it mean? What is the statement of VSEPR theory? The pair of electrons in the valence shell of an atom repel each other, right? So whatever electrons are present in the valence shell of an atom, they are going to repel each other. We all know electrons are repelling each other. Therefore, they take up the position in space to minimize the repulsions. So they have to take such a position in the space that the repulsions are minimized. And how it is that possible? When we are placing them as far apart in space as possible. Right. So now if I have the different number of electron domains, we have the different possible shape and structure of the given molecule, right? So now here if I have the number of electron domains 2, 3 and 4, we have different shape, diagram, bond angle, and we have some examples of this structure as well. So now starting with the number of electron domains 2, the shape is linear. Right, so the diagram will be x, y and y, right? This is how we will be having the linear diagram. The bond angle will be 180 degree. You can see here the angle is 180 degree. Example is BeCl2 in the gaseous form. Coming to the number of electron domains 3, it would be a triangular plane. So in the triangular plane we have x, y and y, which are represented in the form of triangle. So this y and y represents a triangle and it would be an equilateral triangle. So the angle here would be 120 degree, right? So example is BF3. Now when the number of electron domains is 4, it would be having the tetrahedral structure. In the tetrahedral structure, now here this x and y are connected straight. Now this y is having an angle 109.5 and now this y is out of the plane, right? And this y is inside the plane, right? With the angle 109.5, and this is a tetrahedral structure. And the example is CH4. Now predicting the shape of the ions. How we can predict the shape of the ion? For that we should know the number of electron domains. If I know the number of electron domains, I can predict which shape it is having and I can make the structure as well. So now if I have the NH4 ion, first of all we have to make its Lewis structure. This is the Lewis structure of NH4 positive, right? So now if you see over here how many bonding pair of electrons are there. So you can see here this is the bonding pair, this is the bonding pair, this is the bonding pair and this is the bonding pair. So the number of bonding pair is 4. The non-bonding pair of electron. On the nitrogen we don't have any non-bonding pair, so it will be 0. What would be the electron domain? Electron domain would be the summation of these two, which is 4. So when the 4 electron domain was there, the tetrahedral structure was there. So this is the structure of NH4 positive. So here we will be having positive sign as well. Right, now coming to the H3O positive, right? Again we can make the Lewis structure. We all know how to make the Lewis structure. Again here you need to see how many bonding pair of electrons are there. In H and O, this is the bonding pair of electron, this is the bonding pair of electron, this is the bonding pair of electron. So 3 bonding pair of electrons are there and this is a non-bonding pair of electron. So the total number of electron domain is 4. Again it will be having the tetrahedral structure. Now here in the tetrahedral structure 3 hydrogen atoms would be there and one place is occupied by the pair of electron. This is the lone pair of electron. Now NO2 negative. In the NO2 negative, this is a Lewis structure. Now here you can see this is the bonding pair of electron. These two are also bonding pair of electrons. So now the bonding pair of electrons are 3, but here this is the double bond that we have. So now if when calculating the electron domain, we can take this double bond as one bonding pair of electron only, right? So non-bonding pair of electron, here you can see it is 1. So now here we can take it as 2 because one was double bond and one was single bond. So 2 plus 1 is 3. So electron domain is 3, which means we have, because of the double bond, I have taken these 3 as 2, which means we have a triangular planar structure. This is how the structure would be there. One place is occupied by the lone pair of electron and here we will be having double bond of oxygen, single bond of oxygen. Coming to the polar molecules. What are the polar molecules? It is dependent upon the electronegativity difference. Whenever there is electronegativity difference between the molecules, the different atoms of a molecule will be having the electronegativity difference. So electron lying more towards the one atom than the other. If one atom is more electronegative than the other, electrons will move towards the more electronegative atom. Such a bond is called the polar bond, right? For example, we have HCl and H3H2O. All of them have dipole moment because the induced small positive charge and the small negative charge would be there, and due to which there is a overall dipole moment, right? It is indicated by the arrows. You can see this is HCl. On the hydrogen we have small positive induced charge. On the chlorine we have small negative induced charge because of higher electronegativity of the chlorine, right? So the direction of dipole moment would be from hydrogen to chlorine. Similarly, here we have NH3, where on the nitrogen we have small negative charge, on all of the hydrogens we have small positive charge. The direction of dipole moment would be from upwards, right? Similarly, we have H2O, the direction of dipole moment would be upward. Oxygen will be having small negative charge. And sometimes we have non-polar dipole moment also. Even if we have electronegativity difference between the different atoms, overall dipole moment can cancel out and we will be having the zero overall dipole moments. For example, we have CO2. You can see the structure. The carbon is having small positive charge, oxygen is having small negative charge. So we have equal and opposite side of dipole moments which are going to cancel out, and overall I can see that this CO2 structure is non-polar, whereas we had the electronegativity differences. Coming to the London forces. What are the London forces? London forces are the main forces between the non-polar atom or molecule. We know the polar molecules will be having some induced forces due to the dipoles, but the non-polar molecules will be having only the London forces. London forces are the main forces. Other than that, we have some smaller forces as well. Now the London forces are temporary, or I can say these are instantaneous dipole induced dipole forces, right? So if I have a temporary dipole and if I have a temporary another induced dipole, you can see this argon structure. You can see here we have temporary negative and temporary positive, and now it is not very stable. So argon is moving here and there, and at a particular point of time we can see the electron cloud is moving at a particular location, right? So it can never be always symmetric due to unsymmetricity of this thing. So now here we have small negative charge, small positive charge. In this atom of argon also we have small negative and the small positive charge. These are the temporary dipoles. Now there will be interaction between these two temporary dipoles, and this interaction is called the London forces. Now if I see the overall force will always be attractive, right? So we will be having always attractive London forces only. It gets stronger as relative molecular mass increases, and even if the number of electrons increase, it will get stronger, right? So now coming to the question, arrange sulfur, chlorine and argon in order of increasing boiling point and explain your order. So now sulfur, chlorine and argon are, all of them are non-polar substances. So what is there in them? All of them will be having the intermolecular forces, which is the London force, and now the London force depends upon the molecular mass. We have to see which all molecule of sulfur, chlorine and argon are there. So argon is remaining as it is in the atmosphere. It's a noble gas, so we will be having 39.95, right? So chlorine will be having 70.90 because chlorine is existing as Cl2 molecule. Sulfur is existing as acet, which is having the molecular mass 256.56. You can see acet is having highest molecular mass, so it will be having highest London forces, highest intermolecular attraction forces. So we require more energy to overcome these intramolecular attraction forces, which means the acet will be having the highest boiling point. Other than that, after that the molecular mass of Cl2 would be there and argon would be there. So acet, then Cl2 and then argon. So highest would be acet, then Cl2, and the least boiling point would be of argon. Coming to the next question, compare the boiling point of propane CH3 CH2 CH3, methyl oxy methane CH3O CH3 and ethanol CH3 CH2OH. Right, so we have to first understand what is the molecular mass of all of them. So molecular mass of all of them, you can see CH3 CH2 CH3 is 44.11, CH3O CH3 is 46.08, CH3 CH2OH will be having 46.08. Now we can see all of them are having almost similar molecular mass only. Now we have to see which one of them is polar and non-polar. So if I see the propane CH3 CH2 CH3, it is non-polar. right? There is no electronegative atom, right? Now coming to CH3O, CH3 and CH3, CH2OH. In both of them we have a highly electronegative atom, that is oxygen, and due to which it becomes polar. So now the least forces would be in the London forces in the propane. So propane would be having the least boiling point. Other than that, we have to now compare the polar substances CH3O, CH3 and CH3, CH2OH. Now when I see both of them, CH3, CH2OH will be having stronger intermolecular forces, because now if I see this structure, CH3 is connected to the both side of oxygen. So now the dipole moment here would be somewhat reduced. But if I see CH3, CH2OH, so here we will be having CH3, CH2. Now here O and H is connected. So when one hydrogen atom is connected to the oxygen, here we will be having induced dipole, which is very high as compared to this structure, right? So now here, due to the strong intermolecular forces, then CH3O, CH3, the boiling point of CH3, CH2OH would be higher. So here, because of this induced charge, we will be having higher boiling point of CH3, CH2OH than CH3O, CH3, because it is polar, and at last because it is just having the London forces, propane is having the least boiling point. So I hope you understood all of the things that I have discussed. Thank you so much.